Hey there, and welcome. Ever wonder what makes a restaurant truly unforgettable? You know, in a world where there are just so many amazing places to eat. Well, it's not always just the food on the plate, it's the story behind it. Today, we're going to break down the secret recipe for turning a simple meal into a powerful memory: culinary storytelling.
Okay, let's jump right in. Take a look at this. On the left, you've got a basic description. Fish fillet. Sure, but on the right, you've got a whole story. Line-caught sea bass, veggies from your neighbor Mark, a family recipe. Which one makes you hungrier? I mean, which one feels like it has a soul? It's the story, right? Every single time. That's the magic we're getting into today.
And this really gets to the heart of what we're calling le défi du restaurateur, or the restaurateur's challenge. The market out there is just so crowded, and a delicious meal, honestly, isn't always enough to make people remember you. Customers today are looking for more than just food. They're craving an experience, something that connects with them and makes them want to come back again and again.
And that is exactly where our secret ingredient comes in: culinary storytelling. It's really the art of using a story to build an emotional bridge between your customer, the food they're eating, and your restaurant. It's what turns a dinner out into a real event. It makes you unforgettable and helps build a brand that people truly care about.
So, how do you actually cook up one of these amazing stories? Well, like any great dish, you need a solid recipe. And we've got one for you. It's called la recette des 4C, or the 4C recipe. Think of these as your 4 essential ingredients for a story that people will absolutely love. Here they are: construction, character, which is all about character, climax, and of course the conclusion. Each one of these steps builds on the last to create a story that's not just good, but really effective. So let's break them down one by one.
All right, first up, construction. You have to start with a strong foundation. This is your setup. So talk about where a signature dish came from. Is it a secret family recipe that's been passed down for generations? Or maybe you work with a local beekeeper who provides that incredible honey for your famous dessert. And here's a great tip: don't hide these stories. Put these little anecdotes right there on your menu.
Next is character or character. This is so important because people connect with other people. It's about humanizing the whole experience. So tell the story of your head chef. Maybe they have a really passionate backstory. Introduce the farmer who grows your vegetables. If you have your own garden, oh, that's a fantastic story right there. It just makes everything feel more real and personal.
Now for the exciting part: the climax. You know, a story without a little bit of tension can fall flat. So don't be afraid to talk about the challenges you've faced. Maybe there was a huge shortage of a key ingredient, and a local farmer came to the rescue. Or talk about that one time you had to improvise a dish on the fly, and it accidentally became your #1 bestseller. These stories show you're creative, you're resilient, and that's incredibly compelling.
And finally, we have the conclusion. This is where you tie everything together and connect it all back to your customers' values. You're showing them what you stand for. When they eat your food, they aren't just having a meal, they're supporting local farmers, they're part of the slow food movement. You're showing them that for you, great food is about both pleasure and health. Okay, so you've used the 4 C's to build this perfect story. But here's the thing: a story that just sits on a piece of paper is only half the battle. To make a real impact, you have to make your customers feel it. And that brings us to donner via récit, bringing your story to life.
Just listen to this for a second. Instead of just saying, "Our soup is good," what if you said this: "A creamy soup scented with fresh thyme that recalls our grandmother's kitchens"? Wow, see the difference? That doesn't just describe a taste. It evokes a feeling, a memory, a sense of pure comfort. That is storytelling that hits the senses.
And you can take this so much further. Think beyond just taste. How about hosting a blind tasting to really dial up your guest senses? Or what about the sounds in your restaurant? You could play sounds from nature, or have live music that matches your story's vibe. You could even run workshops where people get to learn about where their food comes from. The big idea here is to engage all 5 senses to make your story completely unforgettable.
So now you have this incredible, multi-sensory story. But even the best story needs an audience, right? In this next part, partagez votre histoire, we're going to talk about how you can share your story with the right people on the right platforms. This is where your story really starts to work for your business.
This table just breaks it down perfectly. Trying to reach the general public? Instagram is your best friend. Think gorgeous photos and inspiring captions. What about for the serious foodies or other professionals? Well, LinkedIn is an amazing place for behind-the-scenes content that shows off your expertise. And for tourists, tell them stories about local culinary history right there in the restaurant.
It's all about meeting your audience where they are with a story they'll connect with. But here it is. This might just be the most powerful step of all. Don't just tell a story to your customers. Let them become a part of it. The best stories are the ones where we feel like we play a role. So make them the hero.
So how on earth do you do that? Well, you co-create the story with them. Ask them to leave reviews, to share photos on social media. Give them a fun, unique hashtag to use. You could organize a cooking class with your chefs. When your customers become your storytellers, your story gets so much more authentic and powerful. That's the kind of marketing you just can't buy. So as we start to bring this all together, let's talk about the ultimate goal. Transformer le repas, or transforming the meal. Because this isn't just a clever marketing trick. We're talking about fundamentally changing the way people experience dining at your restaurant.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. Storytelling is like a form of alchemy. It transforms something as simple as a meal into a truly lasting, memorable experience. It forges that emotional bond that builds loyalty in a way that just a good plate of food never could on its own. It's how you turn a first-time guest into a lifelong fan.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. The next time you sit down to eat, or the next time you're planning a menu, just think about the story that's waiting to be told. Because what if your next dish didn't just taste good? What if it told its own incredible story?